नमस्कार दोस्तों, हमारे चैनल में आपका फिर से स्वागत है। दोस्तों, आज श्री आचार्य जी दिल्ली पहुंचे हुए हैं। कल की धरना की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और आचार्य जी की ही मेहनत से ये धरना का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। उनकी टीम पूरी यहाँ पे पहुंची हुई है। श्री जेडी शर्मा साहब भी हैं। मैं आचार्य जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि इस धरना के बारे में आप लोगों को अवगत कराएं। सर, इस धरना के बारे में हमें अवगत कराएं।
मोहन सिंह जी नमस्कार। एक्चुअली कल हमने CBPRO की तरफ से कोऑर्डिनेशन बैंक पेंशनर्स एंड रिटायरीज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन which is having different retirees organizations as constituents, mainly State Bank of India Pensioners Federation and AIBPARC, RBONC and FORB, AIBRF and AIRBA, all important ethics body level pensions organizations, bank pensions organizations. We have decided to have a centralized Dharna tomorrow in Jantar Mantar in Delhi. And as a prelude to this Dharna, we had organized Dharnas in important cities, centers of the country. Across the country, the Dharnas have taken place in Bengaluru, Chennai, Calcutta, and Hyderabad, and so many other places. The response from the membership, especially the aged bank retirees, they are so much agitated about the non-resolution of their issues. So this Dharna is mainly to attract the attention of the government and the IBA to understand the grievances of the pensioners. And as joint convener of CBPRO, the other joint convener is Mr. Deepak Basu from Calcutta. He is from State Bank of India. And I am also the president of AIBPARC organization. This Dharna is organized mainly to see that the most important pending issue, which has been pending for the last 30 years, that is pension revision, or what we call as pension updation. In spite of a very clear statutory provision in the Bank Pension Employees Pension Regulation 35(1), we have been again and again emphasizing that particular regulation, which very clearly says that the basic pension and additional pension, wherever applicable, shall be updated as per the formulae. There are so many formulas. The formulas will be worked out with every wage revision. But unfortunately, that has not taken place, except in the beginning when the pension settlement was introduced in 1995, only for one batch, that is those who retired between 1st January 1986 to 31st October 87. At that time, the updation was done as per the formula which was prevalent at the time in the government. There is absolutely no difference so far as the pension scheme is concerned. It is on identical terms. Whatever is given to the government pensioners would be extended to the bank pension. In fact, originally the bank unions demanded that pension should be given as third benefit, but the government and the IBA told that we cannot give you as third benefit. Whatever we have given to the government pensioners, the same thing would be extended to you and extended to the RBI. So the pension scheme is the same. The regulations are the same. But the only thing that at the time of implementation, there is a discrimination, whereas the government pensioners pension is always updated along with every pay commission recommendation. Now recently in 2019, even in RBI, the updation has taken place, and again further it was revised in 2023 again. Whereas for the bank people, for the last 30 years, the pension revision has not taken place. Virtually the basic pension is frozen. So in the process, what is happening is that those who retired 20 years back, 30 years back, their pension, even the senior executive's pension, is much lower than the lowest rung of the staff who retires today. So that means a gross injustice to all the pensioners, whether they are the past retirees or the present retirees, unless the government government instructs the IBA, and IBA also properly apprise the government, this updation would not take place. So we have been trying to educate even the IBA and the ministry people, saying that this is a statutory right that the regulation has given to us, and that the statutory right should be implemented. So in spite of our repeated requests, memorandums, online memorandums, and even in the past we had conducted so many dharnas, there were other issues also, like 100% DA was not extended to the pre-2002 retirees, and then family pension, there was a discrimination between the government pensioners and the bank pensioners. Fortunately, the Honorable Finance Minister, when we met her twice, she understood the right of the pensioners, and she agreed to give the 100% DA as well as the family pension is improved. But the main demand, so far as the pension updation is concerned, it is still eluding solution, because IBA is telling the government that if updation is given, provisions have to be made for that, and that provision will be a burden on the bank balance sheet and all that. We have been telling the government that it is all a wrong reporting. The pension corpus is very strong. It is now it is almost 4 lakh crores pension fund is there, and the income earned on the pension fund itself is much more than the pension outgo for the year. And whatever amount is left, that itself is more than sufficient to meet the pension updation cost. And even if they have to make provision, they are only making provision to see that ultimately out of that income generated by the pension fund is given as pension or pension updation. So this amount is a reserve. It is a reserve. It is not that the amount is like they are making provision for the NPS. NPS have been making provision left and right, and ultimately many of the NPS have been written off. Yeah, there is no question of writing off or anything. That the reserves will remain only out of the income earned on that pension fund is being used either for payment of pension or updation or pension related expenses. So we are telling that there is absolutely no burden on the balance sheet of any bank. And as of now, the provision is also necessary because the pension fund itself is strong enough to bear the extra cost which they are mentioning about the pension updation. Whatever extra amount would be required, that can be easily met. Somehow this point has not been properly taken either by the IBA or the government. IBA, when we had shown them the statutory regulation, they themselves admit that yes, there is a provision, but what we can do, we have already taken a position that there is no regulation so far as the pension updation is concerned, so now we cannot make a U-turn. It is always expected that anybody who has taken a wrong route, U-turn is bound to happen because it is nothing but course correction. But they are refusing to do the course correction, and they are forcing the retired bank retirees who are now almost in the evening of their life. Many of us have even now crossed the 80 years of age. And how long we have to go on fighting on this issue? And forcing us to come to the streets and holding this Dharna, it is a painful exercise for the pensioners. And the government, which always says that it is a welfare state, a government which claims that it is a welfare state and which says that Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, should really understand the plight of the bank pensioners. Even at this age, if we have to come and do the dharna and all that, it will not speak good of the government also. Anyway, we have the people are so much agitated. That's why the dharna has been the call of dharna has. There is a very tremendous response in all the important centers wherever the dharna was held. And tomorrow we are very confident that large number of people, in spite of pollution, in spite of their ailments, in spite of their age, with all their difficulties, they will still try to come down to Jantar Mantar to protest for the kind of discrimination to which they are subjected to by the government as well as by the IBA. We hope that this effort would be understood by the IBA and the government, and they would do their course correction, and they would give justice to the bank pensioners and retirees in the evening of their life, and this is also going to help many of the ladies pensioners, because the family pensioners and basically many of the family pensioners are lady spouses of the deceased employee. A government which believes in the empowerment of women should not subject them to this kind of financial kind of strain in their old age. So we are not asking anything extra from the government, and we are also public servants. Government is also a public servant. Maybe that for the government the salary and the pension amount, whatever the burden is that is given out of the consolidated fund. But that consolidated fund is nothing but the taxes given by the people. So from the taxes given, in which we have also given the taxes from our own money, for the government pensioners and government employees, all the benefits are given. Whereas in our case, we are making profits also. We are implementing all the government policies. If banking has become a very important part of the economy, the way in which the economy has got developed after the nationalization, the all-round economic development, which is something great in the entire world, the kind of banking that the Indian banking system, and in this the contribution of the bank pensioners who had worked in the bank during their service time, we had implemented all the policies and programs of the government. And after doing that also, we have been able to get profit for the bank. First of all, we have surrendered our PF. With that, the fund is created. Maybe that here and there, when the shortage is there, some provisions had been done. But that is nothing compared to the provisions made to the NPS and the kind of write-offs that have taken place. And the government always says that there is a honest litigation policy, or what is called a senior citizens litigation policy, where they say that the senior citizens should not be unnecessarily forced to go to the court. But here, unfortunately, the retirees are forced to go to the court on any matter and every matter, whether it is 100% DA, whether it is a resignation issue, or whether it is pension updation, or any improvement in the pension regulation, implementation of regulation 26. In all these cases, the people were forced to go to the court, and forcing us to go to the court unnecessarily on issues which are already settled is something very unfortunate. What we are telling that it is not a new demand. We are only demanding implementation of the statutory provision of the pension regulation. There is a statutory obligation, and the regulation has been duly amended in 2003 during when Honorable the great leader, visionary leader, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister of the country. At the time, it was duly amended, making it universally applicable to all the bank pensioners, saying very clearly that pension shall be updated as per Regulation 35. So we are only saying that the 35 one should be implemented in letter and spirit. That is number one. And then some inconsistencies due to settlements have taken place. An unnecessary kind of special allowance component is introduced. What was called a special pay in the government, which is taken into account at the time of calculation of the basic pension also. But here the special allowance is given, but when the question of basic pension calculation comes at the time of retirement, the special allowance is left out. In the process, the people are, instead of getting 50% of the last drawn basic pay, they would be getting much less than 50%, sometimes even up to 35 or 40% of their last drawn pay. So it is a very, very big injustice done to the pensioners and the bank pensioners. This has happened from 2012 onwards. That is also one of the issues. We say that the special allowance should be taken into account for the purpose of calculation of basic pension and gratuity and other terminal benefits. Then, of course, the medical facilities or relief. Virtually, there was no medical relief for the bank pensioners, whereas in the government there is what is called CGHS facilities. And we, after a lot of struggle and all that, the IBA agreed to start what is called IBA medical insurance scheme. While starting, the premium was very reasonable, but now it has become very costly, and that too we are also getting the brunt of the GST. Of course, there is some good news coming now, and we hope that it will be good. That probably the GST may be removed for the health insurance. But in spite of that, the the insurance amount becomes almost 2 to 3 months of the a person gets. They are only saying that there should be some affordable insurance scheme, medical insurance scheme, or you introduce what is called the CGHS scheme for the bank employees also. Because what difference it makes? We are also public servants, they are also public servants. For them, every benefit is given, whereas in our case, they try to see that how the benefits can be denied, what we are entitled. So these are all the issues which are coming, and we are very hopeful that this sustained campaign by all the retirees organizations, especially this, the retirees are nearly now more than 7 lakhs retirees are there, and at least about 2 lakh family pensioners are there. And we are also asking that pensioners issues should be discussed with the pensioners organizations. There is no consultative status for us. We are not able to even negotiate with the IBA. Our issues are negotiated by somebody else who really do not understand the problems of the pensioners. We pensioners are a separate class. Having created a class, a separate class as pensioners, our issues should be discussed with us. And so one more reason is that probably much of the problems can be solved when the negotiation rights are given to the apex level retirees organizations. There is also one more important demand we have put, and we hope that the government would not unnecessarily again and again force us to escalate the agitations, because as retirees we can go on Dharna, we can make online memorandums, we can submit. We know very well that we cannot go on strike, but a responsible government should honor and respect the difficulties of their senior citizens, and that too the senior citizens who have done so much for the all-round economic development of this country. We hope that the government would appreciate Dharna, the reasons for the Dharna, the issues, and IBA also will come forward in properly appraising and informing the government the reasonableness of our demand. And with this, I think with all hopes, there is a powerful, strong Dharna is being organized tomorrow in Jantar Mantar, in the capital city of the nation. In fact, we wanted to have this Dharna as early as in the month of February. We had organized it, but then we could not hold the Dharna because at the time the law and order situation in the capital was a little different because of the Kisan agitation, and the permission which was given was withdrawn in the last minute. So this time we postponed it and we decided to have it tomorrow. And we wish that the media, the print media and the electronic media, they also give proper publicity to their real kind of problems the bank pensions are facing, and a public opinion should be created. So the purpose of this is to create a proper public opinion and making a proper impact on the government and the IBA, and ultimately to get justice for the senior citizens of the banking industry, which has been denied by the IBA and the government so long. We are very hopeful that the agitation which we have launched will be properly appreciated by the powers that be, and justice will be done to the bank pensioners.
Thank you, sir.